All right, hello, my name is Matt Smith.
I'm Tina Fan.
Tina and I are seniors at Lowell High School. And last year, Tina and I were in the same class for microbiology. And during that course, we discovered a pretty recurring theme, which was biofilms, which is a relatively new problem in the medical world. Biofilms are a pretty huge problem, and that will take us into our problem, which is catheter-associated urinary tract infections. Okay, so in nosocomial infections, like urinary catheters, it's a huge problem today. The catheter-associated urinary tract infections, patients will get these symptoms right here, and it's pretty uncomfortable.
It's caused by a biofilm growing on the inside of the catheter. So that's what's causing those symptoms.
Yeah.
So right now our opportunity is pretty large. The competitor catheters out in the market right now, or even being researched, are working to only discourage UTI growth on the inside of the catheter. Companies like that are universities such as Duke, or companies such as Sharklet, which create catheters that discourage UTI growth. Ours would detect it rather than discourage, so it would give the consumer a 100% risk-free use. And there'd be no redesign of catheter functioning. It'd work and be inserted the same way. We also talked to general urologists and epidemiologists about the catheter, and they said they love the idea, but that it should be used with patients at home who have like Foley catheters, indwelling catheters for a long period of time at home, and also patients in the hospital that would use it for a long period of time. So there are about 450 yearly infections, and that accounts for about a fourth of all acute hospital-acquired infections. So basically that means that the hospital is liable for that infection. And the cost per UTI treatment is from $750 upwards to $1,000 or more, because the use of antibiotics and such, and then the hospital staff. And that causes the yearly expenditure on CIUTI treatment to be $450 million yearly in the United States.
So the solution to our problem. So if you could picture a ordinary catheter, our product would be the same thing, except it would be lined with a dye-infused gel matrix, which, when in the presence of a biofilm, it would release a dye into the urine and would let the patient know that they are at risk of forming a biofilm. And then they could, in turn, get treatment for their upcoming symptoms.
So basically they'd go back and get a new catheter from either their hospital, their clinic, or themselves. They have their own at home. And then, so that would get changed out, the biofilm would be gone. But they would only receive antibiotics if the symptoms came back, if they started having symptoms. So it would save the hospital use of antibiotics. And also, like, bacterial resistance. So what we would try to do with difference maker funding is create a proof of concept of our idea, which we would then show to BARD or Teleflex, larger catheter companies, to basically license the idea. And we would use our estimated budget of $5,000 to get lab space, resources, and also specialist information from research, from engineers, professors, doctors, and such.
Thank you very much. If you have any further questions, you can contact us at our information. Thank you.
We have 5 minutes for questions.
Sure. Great job, thank you guys, and it's amazing that your high school seniors, very impressive presentation. I'm a nurse, I work in a hospital, so this is something that's certainly near and dear to my heart. One just really basic question, have you thought about what color the dye would be so that people could differentiate it from other types of things that might be going on in the urinary tract system?
Yeah, we talked about that problem with the epidemiologist.
Yeah.
And they said that a major thing with the urine is that they have to check the actual urine color when they see it in the bag
Right.
for other problems in the urinary tract. So what we were thinking about was with like dermatology funding and other like connections to UMass's plastics department, for example, and nanotechnology, we could create a catheter that could, instead of changing the urine color, it could change the catheter color itself, indicating that there's a biofilm on the catheter.
Great.
Have you done any work in patent searches or anything for intellectual property?
Yeah, we've looked at the bio, basically where we got the idea was to convert a smart bandage. There's these smart bandages that react to biofilms in the certain chemicals released by biofilms and pH to indicate what, like, basically the severity of the wound, and it changes the color on the bandage. So we were looking into that and trying to see if we could use that patent on ours, like convert it almost.
Notice you didn't set any money aside for patent work if you want to license it.
Yeah,
A lot of money.
yeah,
Charlie stuff, big money.
Should probably budget at least $15,000 or $20,000 for that.
yeah.
So this is an idea, there's no proof of concept.
Yeah, no, not yet.
Have you done any sort of preliminary work just using some plastic tubes and try it out with different
Well,
things?
no,
Was it
we
just,
have. Yeah, it's
that's
just
just
an
an idea.
idea right now to like kind of combine two different things. But we have looked into different types of indicators on biofilms to see if like the different gels or some type of molecule that could react to certain biofilm indicators, such as like from E. coli, autoinducer 2, which is a major one in the like a pathogenic bacteria in the body. Other ones such as that.
Why did when you spoke to the doctors at Lowell General, tell you that it was more suited for a home health care environment as opposed to hospital-based?
They thought that because at home you don't have a trained nurse always putting it in, so they like go through different trainings and like I think it's monthly or something, monthly retraining to talk about how if you put it in, you're supposed to do it this way, so that when you put it in, there's no chance of bacteria getting in, because it is a nosocomial infection. And at home, say you don't have that type of training, so it's more common that, and at risk that you'll get that infection.
And did they mention the length of time that the catheter's in, right? Because in a hospital, everything's geared towards, getting them out as quickly
Yeah.
as possible. So I would imagine in more of a chronic care home setting, the patient would have the catheter in a lot longer.
Yeah, I believe the average time is about 2 weeks.
So that makes sense.
I think maybe more like an advice than a question, but when you go to a larger company with just an idea, no protection, typically,
Yeah, you need to sign a DNA.
Not even, you need a patent before you can go there. If you talk to anybody about this, you have an idea, it is gone.
Don't tell Bart it's a great idea.
Yeah, yep. They will have mentoring from the university,
Yeah.
so we'll make sure that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so keep.
That's exciting.
Great job, well done.
All right, very nice
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you very much.